am broadcasting live from Orion Music More at Belle Isle in Detroit. Actually, I have Foals with me right now. They played an awesome set. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Yes, we are good.
Actually, I think it was Jimmy that said, "Is this Iron Maiden?" And I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I could see where that's coming from.
Is that Anastasia?
Yeah, the song's called Anastasia.
Oh, right. I thought you said it was Anastasia singing. It sounds like Bruce Dickinson.
Now, you guys released your latest album, Holy Fire, I believe back in March, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Inhaler has been doing a great job on GRD, and so obviously you're playing Orion. You just did a set. Everyone had a great time. You played a bunch of American festivals and European festivals. Are there any big differences when it comes to the crowd and the crowd interaction?
Well, it always depends what time of day we're playing. I mean, it's kind of like today was great. We kind of feared the worst when we saw that we were playing. We were opening a stage at 3 PM. That's kind of like,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't go to festivals before like 6 PM because I can't take it. I peak too early.
Right.
But that was great.
Drinking so many beers and have the sun beating down on you.
Yeah, I just collapse. But yeah, I mean, there's big differences, but this is the first kind of like, I'm gonna call it hard rock festival. I don't know, well, kind of metal, but it's pretty diverse for one of those festivals. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, the crowd seemed very responsive, which is always a great thing. And we were talking off the air. You were at Coachella in California, and you were saying you think your second weekend was better than your first weekend. What's kind of like your standard, or what makes you think why was the second weekend better than the first weekend?
Well, because we got a second go at it, I guess. So like, I don't know. I mean, personally, I would disagree with Walter who said that, and I actually enjoyed the first weekend more because it was more of a thrill, I think.
We were also jet lagged on the first weekend as well. We pretty much just got there, and we've been moving in and out of time zones over here quite a lot, so it's been quite strange.
Now, again, we are with Foals. We have guitarist Jimmy, bassist Walter, and keyboardist Edwin. And I got to say, I am UK bands, British bands in particular, are some of my favorites. I mean, my favorite band is The Cure. I love The Cure. I have such a man crush on Robert Smith. But like, and
still,
that's why I'm so excited about Lala this year. But the Smiths and New Order and Division, bands like that. But even the newer bands, like big Editors fan, like Editors a lot. And when I listened to you guys, the first time I heard Inhaler, I was hooked. But you've been around for a while, and now you've been in the American scene, obviously, but it seems like things are starting to take off more. Is that more of a deliberate plan on your guys' part, or is just the wheels started rolling in this market?
Yeah, I mean, it's good because it's working with the way it's worked. A master plan of world domination is actually quite like an easy one. It's natural. So there's always seems to be like a steady curve. I mean, in England it went a bit quicker because it's smaller, so word gets around faster. But like, yeah, I mean, over here it feels like this is our 4th American tour now. Feels like we're putting in like the groundwork to or 5th American tour even. I've forgotten one. And it feels like the shows are growing naturally. Like our audience is expanding and getting more diverse, and that radio's playing our songs now, and it feels right. It doesn't feel like we've rushed anything.
Right, and I feel like it's kind of maddening at times, just because let's say a band like Muse, one of the biggest bands in the world, but I remember seeing them in Detroit like 10 years ago at the Shelter, which fits no more than 200 people.
Yeah.
But they're selling out stadiums back in their homeland. And so do you feel like there's just what more could be done where a band's exposure and popularity can be even throughout the world, or is it always going to be region by region?
Well, I think that the kind of philosophy we've always had is just to stay like revisiting places, because you've just got to put the time in and the effort, and especially with America still has that sort of that sort of slightly mythical thing of like English bands trying to break it and things, and you've just got to go and play shows in Middle America and hit both coasts, and you can't just turn up and play a show in LA and Seattle and New York and go home again. It's like, so what we're starting to see now is we're going back to places like, I don't know, like Pawtucket and Detroit. Actually, we didn't get to play again this year. Well, now on this tour, but places like that where people remember seeing you 4 or 5 years ago, and it's like we get that mixture of people who have just heard of us and they're coming up. So you just got to tour. You got to show up and play shows, and some people aren't prepared to do that.
How much time do you put? Is it all of you guys when you put the itinerary together to figure out where you're going to be when you're touring?
We have no say in that.
Oh, really?
But we have a highly paid, skilled team of professionals that put that sort of thing together, and then you get dropped like an anvil. Like usually after Christmas or something, when we're all feeling quite good, it's just like boom, there goes your year, you know. But it's still good. We enjoy it for the record.
Now, again, we were talking about Holy Fire, which was released earlier this year. I love the range of it because you have a laid-back song like Late Night to something that like an ass shaker like My Number. How are you careful with how you try to make a consistent theme with the album?
Yeah, I mean, it was the hardest. I mean, track listing is a nightmare after you've made a record, because it's, you know, you end up like eliminating songs, or each song has to like work with each other, you know. So it was hard on this record because it was a bit more of a, like, each song had its own space, and we were very particular to not have two songs that sound the same or do the same thing. So we ended up with quite a hard decision on our hands, and we dropped a couple of songs, and, you know, maybe they should have been on the record or not, but I think like we got the flow pretty good.
What's the biggest difference between Holy Fire and your previous? Because you have two previous albums.
Two previous ones,
right?
yeah. I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, we've been doing it's our third record, so we were like slightly more used to being in the studio. We were a lot more comfortable with writing music. We tried to just like close the studio door and just let our minds wander, and not shut it down like too early, you know. And it was surprisingly pleasant. The results, you know, like we were quite surprised with what we came out with. So I'd say it was the most fun record we've ever made, definitely.
Sounds like it, with a lot of the tracks. And I really love the video for Inhaler. How much do you have? Is that another set of hire professionals for the videos?
God.
Or do you guys?
Hell no.
No? It's all you guys.
Oh, sorry, that's done by our friend Dave Marr, who's done a bunch of our videos, and he is a professional.
Okay,
so I'm so sorry, Dave. He's available for work, I believe.
He may be listening.
Yeah, he might be listening. But yeah, that was done by our friend Dave. Like, we always try and keep the videos and all the aesthetic side of things quite close to us as well, because, you know, we don't want someone running away with their own ideas and misrepresenting our band. So yeah, it's everything works in harmony, really.
Now, was it for your first album? Was produced by Dave Siddick from TV on the Radio?
Yeah.
Was it the first one? And you guys obviously went with someone else eventually, but would you ever think about releasing, maybe as a bootleg or something, that version of the master? Or have you already?
Well, we only rejected his mixes. He produced the whole record.
Oh, did okay?
Yeah. He just mixed it for 2 weeks, and we were always gonna never use it because we were stuck in England, and he was in New York getting stoned mixing it, and it was like it was our baby, you know. So
right.
Yeah, well, I haven't actually heard the finished result for a long time. Like basically since we heard it the first time. So maybe it's better. I don't know, but I think it was. I can't hear Edwin. I think it was. I think it's out there somewhere. Some fans have got it.
That's going to be something where it was forgotten about. They'll find like the disc of it somewhere in a wall or under a cupboard, and that's going to be like the biggest collectible item on eBay.
Yeah.
And finally, there's been a lot of talk within the last few years about how rock needs saving, so to speak, or just need a kick in the ass. But yet you have festivals like Coachella and like Lollapalooza, which may not be like traditional rock festival, but they're still selling out. In your opinion, is rock in a rut? Or
no, it's a load of baloney, all that stuff. Honestly, every 3 years it's like, oh, the rock's savior, you know, like guitar music returns, like, and then it's electronic music. It's just whatever. There's bands out there all the time. It's just, you know, the only problem at the moment is, you know, there's a bit of a void of like bands that are capable of headlining festivals at the moment, like young bands or, you know, bands our age or whatever. But I think we'll get there. You know, all our peers are heading into like their third or fourth records. They're starting to really discover who they are musically. So I think it's only a matter of time before like the next generation of like big rock bands comes through. I don't think it's anything to worry about. And I'll happily see the Pixies play every festival. You know.
Oh yes,
until they
that's
die.
another man
So-
crush, Frank
Frank Black, yeah.
And Breeders, they come out with a new album
Yeah,
too.
there you go.
Yeah, plenty of music to enjoy. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you come to Grand Rapids sometime this year or next,
Yeah.
because we would love to see you live. Foals, this is Inhaler on Grand Rapids Rock Alternative 97.9 GRD.